if y'all don't know who this woman is, this is, I guess you could say, actress, director, producer, creator, Lena Waithe. And she was in the film this year that came out called Ready Player One. I actually did see it, but I did not review it. But it was a good movie, by the way. But she's most notably, for me, in my opinion, known for having her hands a part of this show called The Shy that comes on Showtime. And they finished their first season back in March, I want to say. It ran from January to March. And they got renewed for a second season. And I do plan on watching the second season because the first season was so good. The Shy basically is almost like uh it reminds me of the movie Crash alongside the show The Wire, but it's in Chicago. And trust me, if it wasn't for that strong cast, I probably wouldn't watch it after the latest stunt that Lena Waithe has pulled. Now, someone tagged me in this on Twitter, and hold on, let me see if I can find out who it is right quick. Um Shout out to RGB, I'm sorry, RBG Missile for tagging me in this post on Twitter. And I didn't know, well, first off, there's this movie that just came out recently called Crazy Rich Asians, and a lot of people are making a big deal about it because it's one of the first movies made in America where the pretty much the entire cast or the majority of the cast are Asian or Asian American or of Asian descent. And that's good enough for them. But considering how they've been treating black people as of lately, I could give a damn about that movie. I really don't care. I really do not care. But you want to know who does care a lot? The person you see right here on this screen. Now, before I go any further, let me just remind you, in case you didn't know, Lena Waithe, I think she won a Golden Globe, if I'm not mistaken. She won some kind of big award or something like that. And it seems like ever since then, something about her just became a little bit odd. And not because of her sexuality. In case y'all didn't know, Lena Waithe is a lesbian. But I can tell she's one of them people that will put her sexuality before her race. And you're about to find out why I say that. And not so much about her sexuality, but how she will put other people before her own. Like, I can instantly tell that Lena Waithe is not black first at all. Like most people in Hollywood. But let me get into it. So the movie Crazy Rich Asians just is about to come out, or it just recently came out. Now, she got on her Twitter account, and hold on, let me find the tweet. She got on her Twitter account and she said, "Go see this film this weekend. It's just as important as Black Panther and A Wrinkle in Time. Let's do it for the culture. And if you got an Asian tattoo, you should buy a ticket just out of respect. I'm looking at you, Wu-Tang Clan." Let me just break down how problematic that tweet is. Let me break it down. She says, "Go see this film this weekend." Now, she could have just left it at that. But no, she had to take a step further. It's just as important as Black Panther and A Wrinkle in Time. Mind you, Black Panther is probably one of the most profitable films that came out this year. It was a great representation of black people in a good way and not being a stereotype for once. It wasn't a slave film. We weren't playing a butler. We weren't playing a maid or a mammy or a drug dealer or a pimp or a hoe or anything of that nature. Then she said A Wrinkle in Time. Now, granted, A Wrinkle in Time didn't do well in the box office, but at the end of the day, it had a black lead, and it was created by a black director. You may not be a fan of Ava DuVernay, but I have to throw that in there, for context purposes. Lena Waithe said that this film is just as important as Black Panther and A Wrinkle in Time. She is basically saying that a movie starring an all Asian cast is more important than a film that had an all black cast or a majority black cast where they were not shown as a stereotype or anything of that nature, or a movie about a young black girl who was also in the lead and put a whole nother culture of people above her own. Now, this is the part where she says, let's do it for the culture. Lena, whose culture are you talking about? Because you're not talking about your own, because you're definitely not Asian at all. If we look at you, we see you as a black woman, no matter how much you try to be a black man. Yes, I said it. Because this isn't even really a recent picture of her. She's actually recently cut her locks off, so now she has a low cut. So if you was to actually see her walking on the street, you would think that she was a straight up dude. But if that doesn't add insult to injury, I found another article that came from HuffPost. It says Lena Waithe says she brought out a theater for crazy rich Asians. She actually took her money and brought out an entire theater to showcase a film that she had no parts of, by the way. I can see if she had some attachments to the movie, like maybe was an investor, or she was a producer, or maybe one of the writers, but she was none of that. She had no parts of this movie, and she went all out above and beyond to promote a film that has nothing to do with her, and to buy out a theater. Are you kidding me? So where was all of this enthusiasm when Black Klansman came out? You didn't buy out the theater then? Why didn't you do this for Sorry to Bother You? You didn't buy out the theater then. I don't even remember you even promoting either one of those movies. And both of them got very high ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. See, the thing is, the Asian community, while they may have some of their affairs in order, they're still low on the totem pole as far as entertainment representation in Hollywood. That's one thing we actually have a leg up on them on. At least we get some kind of representation in some aspect, whether it's good or bad. They barely get that. But my thing is, why is it a black woman, and I'm using that loosely because I don't know if she wants to be a woman or a man, sticking her neck out for a community that most likely doesn't even love her back? Like, what kind of buttered wontons is she trying to get? I can't say buttered biscuits because I have to say wonton soaked in butter sauce. Like, what is she trying to achieve here? Like, this really disappoints me. Like, I am so mad at this. Because despite the fact that, of how her lifestyle is, I was willing to look past that because she actually is quite talented. And people are going in on her in the comment section. Some people agree with her, and then other people are like, you lost me there. Like, why would you? I think it's the fact that she said that this movie was just as important than Black Panther and A Wrinkle in Time. Even though I didn't see A Wrinkle in Time, but it's the fact that you literally, quote unquote, threw shade at a black woman who directed the movie, and a movie that had a black lead, a black female lead, to promote a movie talking about Asians, and the fact that you compared it to Black Panther and saying it was just as important. Why is that? How is that? It don't, and the thing is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much promotion she does. The movie still will not do box office numbers quite like Black Panther. If y'all didn't know, Black Panther is now the third highest grossing film domestically in the U.S. of all time, right behind, I think, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and I think Avatar, if I'm not mistaken. And that's domestically. That means in the States. And she decides to promote this over Black Klansman and Sorry to Bother You, two movies that had black creators behind it, two independent films. Are you kidding me? Like, but what I find is that a lot of black people, and this may not be all of them, But a lot of black people who are in the LGBT community, they'll either put their sexuality before their race, or they'll put another race before their race. And in this instance, Lena Waithe put a whole nother culture before her own. And Lena Waithe, as a black woman, you should be ashamed of yourself, considering all the black women that are getting hands put on them by these agents by ignorantly going and continuously going into their establishments. Like, why would you, like, what were you thinking? I think I've already said all I needed to say. I'm not even going to bother reading the article. I will leave the link to the article in the description if you do choose so to read it. I can't even finish my statement. I'm just going to say, y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links to the PayPal and Patreon are down below. I will talk to you in the next.